So,
Matthew, can you hear me? I'm on now.
is
I
that
can see
Anita?
Susan. Yes, but I don't think you can see me somehow.
Fantastic. Well, we can certainly hear you, Anita.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Never mind. Well, let's keep
I
going.
can see you. Can you see me now?
We've got her. We've got you.
Lovely.
Fantastic. Hello, Anita. Welcome. I was just talking about you and saying that we're going to have a chat with you and Matthew for about 45 minutes, and then hopefully we'll be able to open up the floor for some questions. But I just wanted to say a little bit about why I'm hosting this, first of all, and that's because Pastor Matthew very kindly asked me to. El Shaddai is a fairly new charity to me. Now Cheryl, who is on the call, so perhaps Cheryl can give us a wave. There she is. Cheryl's a very good friend of mine. We went to school together, so we're now very old. And Cheryl's been working with Anita and Matthew and El Shaddai for quite some years. And she's, in fact, for several years been saying, you must come out to India, you must go, you must, I'm in London, by the way, I should tell you that. You must come to Goa and you must see what the charity does. And as often happens, life sort of takes over and I never got the chance. But last year, I actually finally went out to Goa with Cheryl, and we had the most amazing 3 weeks working with El Shaddai. Really, really was fantastic. And I thought I'd just share with you some photographs of my visit before we start, as Matthew asked me to do this. So I'm going to share my screen with you all, and hopefully you can see this. And this is one of the things that we did. We were taking on a beach cleanup because, of course, El Shaddai is known for its work with children. But what really impressed me was how much work it does in the wider community in Goa as well. So we all went on a massive beach cleanup. And this is my rather interesting hoard of shoes that I managed to pick up on the beach. I had no idea till this day, this was on Baga Beach, just how many shoes get discarded and cast into our oceans. That was quite an eye-opener, really, and a great day, a very, very hot day, lugging all that rubbish, but everybody did really well. Matthew also asked me to speak at a Business Network International meeting in Panjim, and there's Cheryl and me and Matthew and the other 4 people that you can see. This was just so emotional for me. These were 4 businessmen who I met at the meeting, who were all doing incredibly well in their own walks of life now and running their own businesses, yet they had all been El Shaddai children at some point in their lives.
I can't see the photo at all.
Nobody
can. No one can.
Photograph.
It came and it went off.
Is what? Sorry, I can see it here, and it says.
It came and went off. The
This is
photos
the
came
problem
and-
with muting us. We can't say when there's a problem.
Right, you need to be on speaker view. If you put yourself onto speaker view, you will see the photograph.
It keeps
If you do that.
closing us out.
So if you put it onto speaker view, so not gallery view.
I can't find speaker view to put it on.
It's top right corner. You will have a choice to how to see on your screen, either gallery view or speaker view.
It keeps muting us.
I've got record live on YouTube.
But if you
Don't have that at all.
you should be able to see it.
No, I haven't
No.
either.
No,
If
it's not on my top right. I've got record, live, or on YouTube as a choice.
Okay.
There's Sally
We have
Ann
got-
saying you can't.
We've just got a blank screen. We're viewing your screen, but it's blank.
Oh, okay, that's very odd. Okay, well, look, I don't know what we can do about it. So I'm just going to carry on and apologies, but I'll keep going because I'll only be another couple of minutes, and then we should be, and hopefully some people can see it. But anyway, as I was saying, we went to this meeting, BNI International, Business Network International, and 4 of these guys who'd been children in El Shaddai's homes were now successfully running their own business. And that for me was an amazing and very powerful testimony to the incredible good that El Shaddai does, picking up children off the street and then turning them effectively into top businessmen. So that was great. But I have to say, of course, for me personally, the highlight, I think, of my visit to Goa and to El Shaddai was meeting this wonderful little girl, Smita Naik, who I sponsor. Absolutely amazing to meet her. Absolutely amazing. And there's another final photograph of me and Smita in the middle with some of the other children from Kathleen House. So yeah, that was the most amazing experience. As you all know, I think El Shaddai has looked after and rescued effectively and protected about 70,000 children since it was founded in 1996. The most incredible achievement. So yeah, so I had an amazing time with the charity. You I think mostly all know a little bit about the charity, and I'm sure you're very supportive of it too. Yes, amazing. So let's start to talk to Matthew and Anita about the charity and about what it does. And perhaps Matthew, I could start with you. I mean, was it that you and Anita met by chance, or how did it all come about in the first place that you two managed to team up and create this?
Purely by chance. Purely by chance.
Purely by chance. So what kind of chance? Where did you meet?
Anita had come for holidays to Goa with her daughter Nikki, and they were staying in a resort. And one day Anita was going for prayer, and she met one boy called Michael, who had a little bit of mental problem, emotional problem. I was trying to help him to sort himself out. And Anita saw him reading the Bible. Anita walked up to him and said, "Are you Christian?" He said yes, and then he started talking to Anita about me. So Anita said, "Can I come and meet Matthew?" And he didn't have any bike or anything, so he borrowed his friend's Bajaj M81 moped, very old one, and Anita came on that to see me. So that's the first time we met. Then Anita said she has a dream to help with children. And I told her that I am already doing various kinds of activities in the slums. And I also have a vision. So Anita said, "Why don't we work together?" I said, "Fine, there's nothing to lose." So I took Anita to slums, and that's where we met, and we said, "Okay, let's work together," and we started. The rest, Anita has to be blamed for everything else.
So does that accord with your experience, Anita? Is that right? What are your memories of those early days founding the charity?
Yes, it was a very exciting time for me because having never been to India before, I didn't know what to expect. And I'd always wanted to go, and it was my daughter saying, "Yes, well, we go." And it was really to go for me to have a holiday to recover from driving the aid trucks to Romania and Albania for 10 years. And I was sort of still full of Romania and Albania, not planning to do anything more. And I was in the hotel, I remember, and the first night, it was a terrible, terrible room. It was at the back of the hotel, and it was only like a 1-star. And I saw the children that had been abandoned eating out of the dustbins of the hotel, and that touched my heart terribly. And then we went out walking in the streets, in the evenings, and the little children were there begging. I hadn't seen anything like it in Romania or Albania before, because that was more or less children in lock-up orphanages that Ceausescu was making women breed to have babies to make his kingdom big. But this was totally different. This was right there in front of me. I could see these children, and nobody seemed to be doing anything. And I was incredibly concerned about it. And I thought, I'm here, my second day. What can I do in 2 weeks? And I was praying about it, and God gave me this vision, to open homes to the street children. And I thought, come on, it must be sunstroke. I couldn't possibly do anything like that. And then I went into this beach shack where I met Michael, and I was quite blown away the fact that he had an NIV study Bible in English, the same as mine. And we got chatting, and he was a lovely boy, and I really felt for him because I could see he got some problem, but he said, "I'll take you to my church to meet Pastor." And I thought, wow. But of course, when he turned up on this motorbike at the hotel to collect me, it was sort of held together with wire and sellotape and string. And my daughter said, "You're just not going on that bike, and you're not going off with a young Indian man," as I said goodbye. And of course, we get to the church, which was not a church at all. It was a beautiful church meeting with about 30, 35 people in the office in Mapsa. And I remember the first song we sang was Shine, Jesus, Shine. And I thought, wow, you know, I feel at home already. Until at the end of the meeting, Matthew suddenly stood up and said, oh, it's very nice to have a foreigner here. Will you say something to my congregation? So I went to the front of the church group, and I shared this vision that God had given me to open homes for the street children. But I know that I asked God at the time, if this vision is from you, you've got to do 3 things for me. You've got to give me the strength to do it, because I was 50, you know, 25 years ago. And I said, I need the strength to do it. I need the right people to help me. And I need a confirmation it's from you and not in my head. Well, when Matthew asked me to speak and I shared this vision, Matthew's very emotional, beautifully emotional. I could see tears pouring down his face.
Oh.
And he said God had given him a vision that someone would be coming from England to help him.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know who he was. I had no idea of anything about him. And I said, right, we'll do it together, but we won't pay bribes. We'll do everything legally, and come on, let's start. And it was just such an exciting time. I can't tell you how brilliant it was. And the time we started, we needed to look around. He took me to the children in the slums, and they absolutely adored him. They were climbing all over him. And of course, they were a little bit worried seeing a white person, and they kept touching me as if I was wet paint, you know, I was white. And within a few minutes, we were all together and they were singing, and oh, it was just a beautiful time. And after that, we went on together, and I said, well, you know, I'll have to go back and find my daughter. She'll be worried about me. She wasn't only worried, she was furious because I hadn't come back from church. She was absolutely mad at me. I remember her tearing me to pieces, but you know, all's well that ends well. I mean, I could go on forever. I mean, as you probably know, I've written a book with the help of Lorraine, and I hope, you know, you can hear all the story then.
It's just the most amazing story. Absolutely amazing. So you've been running the charity for the last 25 years, and presumably you were getting quite used to the way things were and everything was going relatively smoothly because you've got a system in place. And then coronavirus hit.
Yes.
I mean, how hard has it hit El Shaddai and India?
I would say it has turned us upside down completely in so many different ways. I mean, not only does El Shaddai have to run in a completely different way because of all the lockdowns, to run it, you obviously need money. And the main way of getting money is not just from donations, it's child sponsorship. And the people that sponsor children, you know, from all over the world have been affected financially. So we struggle now to feed so many children. The children, I know Matthew had a foresight before the great lockdown, and he encouraged any child that had any living relative to go back to their villages because he felt it would be safer there. And that reduced the number in the children's homes to, I don't know, about 150, 200. Matthew would know the details. And I was going back to the UK, and I was thinking, how on earth am I going to do all the slideshows I usually do when I'm back in the UK? It's shut down. What are we going to do? It was just, so much. It was just, I didn't know quite what to do. Well, Matthew and I were talking, and he said they were going to do these big feeding programs. And all I could think of was how we were going to keep afloat, because I'm probably considered the main fundraiser, or I mean, Matthew's amazing fundraiser now in the UK. And I was just thinking of different ideas what to do, and sort of drew a blank because you can't go anywhere. And, you know, we have wonderful people raising money for us. Like we've got a marvelous friend, Nitan. I don't know if he's with us today, but yeah, he's doing this, the Jurassic Walk. He was arranging it for us. And then we got Sanji. You know, they all do these wonderful things. These Indian people helping Indians. It's such a blessing. And I'm still trying to work out what we can do.
How tough has it been financially, Matthew? Have people stopped sponsoring children, stopped giving you donations? Obviously, people's finances are stretched around the world, but just how much of an impact has it been on you financially?
Mostly the impact is the difficulty, like, you know, all of a sudden everything is shut, children can't go anywhere. And we have this big number of children and they have to be looked after. And all this fearful news coming about the death and COVID, and it was more emotionally very draining and very challenging time. So sponsor-wise, most of our sponsors are staying on. Hardly a few. Ruth knows the correct number, how many more withdrawn. But we had to make a lot of changes the way we look after children, because we have so many staff. Nearly 70% of the staff is on break now. The fear is that if one person gets COVID anywhere, it means we are going to give to thousands of people, because we have this feeding program in the cities. We have nearly 150 children living with us, and the staff and the people who interact. So it's a massive worry. I mean, it's a big concern. So it was really tough to manage. But sponsor-wise, we have given a lot of groceries, food packets, and free food and all. So a lot of people came in to support us, a lot of local people. And even now, even a few days back, one lady brought a truckload of rice and wheat. And, you know, there are people who never given money to us, came and gave the money. And so it's been very helpful. People have been very, very supportive.
Have you had any support from the government? I mean, a lot of governments in the West have been giving support to businesses, to charities. What about El Shaddai?
Our government makes only promises, never delivers.
Right.
So so far from the government side, not hardly anything. But some of the officers in their level, they had tried to help us by giving a lot of rice. But government in general, in reality, has not done anything to change this situation.
Some might say that you were incredibly brave, sort of diverting from your core work of looking after children to then doing the mass feeding program as well. So you're almost piling even more pressure on yourself. Why did you do that?
If there's a need around us, we have to do something about it. So one of the things that all the children are staying by, we have created a lot of activities for them. We are teaching them Photoshop, farming. A lot of boys are involved in farming. And then gardening, various kinds of activities. So the last thing I want them to get bored. So we have created a lot of activities for the children to keep them, gain more knowledge. And we also start farming. El Shaddai start a lot of farming in our land. So hopefully when you come, we'll have vegetable grown in our own plants, our own farm. So yeah, we are working from the office. So the whole office is moved to our house. So we are still working. Here is Jennifer. You may know Jennifer, the teacher.
Ah, yes, Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer.
So we all are, my house top floor has converted into office. So we are working from here.
Excellent.
So it's a lot of, you must have seen in India, a lot of people have suffered because of the lockdown informed without making any proper plans. All of a sudden, millions of people on the road want to go back to the village. They are complaining about they've been treated badly in the places they live. Some got beaten up, some been chased. So it's quite a traumatized situation. That's the time we thought we must do something about at least providing food for them, because The people who have money, they already bought groceries and stored up for themselves. The people who are daily wagers, so what they do, they buy their ration every day. Then the rest of the money they drink. They don't have the habit of saving. So when the lockdown,
And when do you,
when the lockdown came, most of them had no food to eat. So they start going around searching for food, and the police was beating them.
Anita, Matthew, when do you anticipate getting back to some kind of semblance of normality?
In terms of El Shaddai, we don't know when we can start the regular back, because India is on a growing mode. Now India became the 4th in the world in COVID. So every day around 11,000 people are getting sick every day. So we do not know when the normal times come back. So in this time, we have a challenge of looking after children in our care, and the children are gone with the family supporting them. We are supporting the children with their parents wherever they are by giving them rice. Then we also have a big number of children who've grown up through El Shaddai, who are in different places. So we are offering our help for them as well, like a small loan, maybe food, because many of the children who grew out of El Shaddai staying in different places, they have no family. Some has a family, some are done well, some are okay. So we are trying to help them as well. I said, Anita, it's your turn.
Yes, sorry, I had a call come in from Ash in America asking if the Zoom was on yet, and I had to answer it. So can you give me the question again?
You're amazing.
Hi, yeah, well, did you ask a question, Matthew? Because I think I zoomed out for a moment. I think I just disappeared. Technical problems. But no, I was just asking, I think I was asking when you think you might get back to some kind of semblance of normality and the children can come back to the schools, back to the homes and start the life that they know so well.
We do not know.
Yeah.
As of now, we do not know. The people are saying that India will continue peaking or increasing the number till the month of August.
Okay.
So by August only we will become peak to phase it out. So we really don't know what's happening. The schools are not going to be open very soon. Our homes, 3 homes we are running because these are the children who have nowhere to go. Rest of the children are with the parent. We are starting the online class for those who can through mobile phone, different ways. So then we are trying to care for them continuously through with their parents and the ex-children, the children grown up in El Shaddai, working out. Some are doing very well, some are just hand to mouth. So we are trying to help them by providing ration or maybe a small financial support just to survive.
And presumably you've had to stop your slum school program completely.
Yeah. Any kind of social connection not there. So we only have the feeding program with the proper social distancing. Then looking after the children in our care, then supporting the family. These are the things we are doing now.
And how difficult has it been to, I mean, children are such gregarious creatures, aren't they? They love to hug each other and play together. Have you had to put a stop to that? How far have you had to go?
We have developed various kinds of programs for them. We have a team of children involved in farming. We are developing our own farm. Mm-hmm. So they cleaned out, they are planting, so they all get excited to see their trees are growing. So you all know that in the 3 lands we are doing Norma House and Norma House and Roshni Nilaya and the side of my house. There are 3 places and the cottage. 4 places we are doing farming. So that's mainly it's a good opportunity for them to learn. And there is one of my friend's son comes to teach them cooking. So some are learning cooking. Last week they made Italian cooking. They made lasagna. It was very tasty. And this coming week they are going to learn about how to make pizzas. Then we do, Agnel is teaching them Photoshop, so that we are teaching them to do the photo editing, all that kind of skills. Then we keep a lot of activities all the time, every day. It's the last thing is that we want them to be bored. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. It seems almost as though that this crisis has actually been an opportunity for you to explore a lot of new initiatives and a lot of new
Plus,
things.
also,
So do you see that as some kind of blessing?
I feel it's a real blessing, because we also learn to review our expenses, how we spend the money, where all we can cut the cost, how many work is really effective, how many work is not really effective. So it's been good. But it's been very bad for the poor people in India. It's been very, very terrible times they have.
So we've certainly seen headlines here, particularly about the migrant worker community. Can you tell us a little bit more about that for people who perhaps haven't heard about this?
See, some of the states in India, some cities are doing. The rest of India is has a lot of poverty. So basically, migrant laborers are the laborers who come from central part of India, searching for food and job. So when the lockdown was declared without planning any kind of provision for any of them. When the lockdown came, they had no food, they have no money, so they all become frantic, start trying to search food. Many places they've been treated very bad by the locals, because even some of the politicians call them termites. Politicians and these migrants are termites. A lot of people don't like them, so they were not helped. As a result of that, they became very insecure, and they all want to go back to their villages. And so there is no provision for them to visit. So some places they create riot. They go onto the road, street, thousands of them, trying to protest, trying to say that we want to go back to our village, we want to go and die in our village. So finally, government has set up some trains after a long delay. So still people are going back to their villages and saying that we'll never go back to the cities. But then village has no money, no food. So a lot of people are become very uncertain, very difficult condition. And a lot of, you must have seen one of the news that one lady died in the platform, and a baby was drinking from her breast and trying to wake her up for the next spring. People died in the toilets of trains. And horrible things. Not nice.
So I think the official death toll in India is something around 7,000. Is that a figure that you
crossed more than 8,000? But nobody knows the real number, because if you look at India, the medical facility, there are places like Goa, Kerala, there are medical facilities better, but still not sufficient. But if you go to the interior parts of India, there is no medical facility. So I don't think anybody get a proper report of how many have got COVID or how many have died. We are having the report on the basis of the report they're getting. Even today, yesterday it was in the news, some of the states are hiding the report, hiding the number, because they don't want the world to know that my state has more deaths than the other state. So there is a bit of politics, whatever you call it. But the problem is much bigger than what you see in the media. Because I've been to places like Noida, where 25 kilometers.
So Anita, back to El Shaddai. What can we do right now to support El Shaddai to make sure it continues to thrive despite coronavirus?
So we are.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Anita.
I was going to say, from my point, there seems only two things I could do. First is to pray that things will get better. And secondly is try and raise more funds to help with everything that Matthew and Julia, don't forget Julia, she worked so hard, that Matthew and Julia do in Goa for our charity. I can't see a way forward of me getting out to Goa in the foreseeable future, unless I walk. and swim.
You walk, you will come. Right?
She would if you were pushed, I think, Anita. I don't doubt it. You're a
Oh
woman.
gosh,
And
I'm
that'd be
missing
very
it. I'm
optimistic.
missing the children so much.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Anyway,
So-
there'd be nowhere for me to stay because my granny flat is now the office.
That's the office now.
Now, I saw your granny flat when I was in Goa, and
Yeah.
it had taken a heck of a lot of damage because of the monsoon. I remember the roof looked like it almost needed replacing. I don't think it was quite that bad, but it wasn't good. So you've obviously fixed all that.
But it had stopped raining when I came. It had dried out.
Still raining a little bit when I came.
Yeah,
but not too
yes,
bad, not
yes.
too bad. Great. So I'd like to open it up now to questions from anybody else that's on this call. So does anyone have any questions for anyone really?
Or anything to say.
Yeah.
Or any good ideas.
Absolutely. Or any good ideas? Anything? Just chip
Yeah.
in.
And I want to say a big thank you to Ruth too, who put so much work into it from the UK side, and her sister Mary.
Well, Ruth is on the call with us. I can't
Good.
see her.
Oh,
know
I
she
can't
is.
see
There
her at
I-
the
there
moment.
she is. There's Ruth. Hello, Ruth.
That's
So
true.
Ruth heads up the UK office. So, I mean, Ruth, has this crisis had any impact on your work in London?
In Devon,
Oh, Devon. So you're based in Devon. I didn't know that. Excellent. I'm so well. Still in
Yeah.
London. Yeah, in Devon,
There we
Um,
are people of
yeah.
plot
part
trees.
of the country.
Yes, it has. We were an office of 4 volunteers working together, part-time. Now we're an office in my house of me, basically, with a little bit of help, but not much. So, I mean, from that point of view, it's changed.
So you're a super boss now, full in control.
No.
totally
No comment.
exhausted.
Sorry?
Totally exhausted. She is.
Well, no, but if I can I update people a little bit on the financial situation and 1 or 2 thoughts I have on it?
Yes,
Yeah.
please do.
Currently, we send about 50% of the income that India gets. Obviously, when it first started, it was 100%, but it's really good that the big increase that in percentage that has come from India itself in supporting the charity. But currently, we send 50%. During April and May, we lost 25 sponsors, which is not good. Many of them were fairly new sponsors. The old hands who've been with us forever are still sticking in there, which is great. And I suspect that quite a few of these sponsors we lost because they lost their jobs or were financially embarrassed by the present situation. We have gained sponsors. If I look at January and May 2019, we had 36 new sponsors sign up. January and May 2020, we've had 51. So, which is obviously good. Now, these sponsors were a mixture, and always are a mixture, really, of 2 points of contact. The first and most important one is people going to India and actually seeing the children. It's very difficult not to sponsor after you've seen the children. And the second one is through sort of fundraising and contacts in this country. And certainly quite a few of the new sponsors this year, January, May, were personal friends or contacts of both Anita and basically myself. Although, of course, we got a lot of new sponsors from people who went to India this year. So, yes, we've had more new sponsors this year than we had in the same period last year. In terms of our income, last year, for the June transfer, which is a quarterly transfer, we sent nearly 47,000. We're about to send the June transfer, which is about 50,000, plus, of course, the COVID money. So you're getting more than that, Matthew, okay? But we can't count that in terms of comparisons, okay? In terms of COVID money, we have raised in the UK £20,440 up to the end of May. There's a little bit more come in and a little bit more promised. So at this precise point, we are not in a financially difficult situation in terms of supporting the charity. However, the problem in my mind is that financial embarrassment will come across a lot of people in this country in the next few months.
Yeah.
There are people who are, for instance, being furloughed at the moment who may not be going back to work. There are other people who are unable to get jobs, etc., etc. And I think also the downturn of the economy in this country is going to be a problem. And so I would anticipate that we will lose sponsors, not because they want to leave us, but because they are in a difficult position financially. Secondly, of course, we have the situation where it's very difficult to fundraise, as Anita has said. I mean, both of us had speaking engagements that are not going to happen at the moment. But the biggest problem, as I see it in the coming year, is that I suspect that quite a few people who might have gone to Goa for a holiday in the coming winter will not be doing so. They'll not be doing so for a number of reasons. One, because they're frightened that the government will shut down like they did this year without warning, and they'll get stuck. Is that right, John Turton?
And Biker Dave.
Who is he?
Biker Dave, you got stuck, didn't you? And people will be frightened of that. Secondly, it's one thing to go on holiday to Portugal where it's a couple of hours in an aeroplane, but to travel to India in an aeroplane at the moment, I think will put a lot of people off. And then, of course, there's the question of health insurance, which is probably going to rocket, particularly for those of us who are older, because of COVID. And to go without health insurance would be daft. And the problem with that, of course, is that that is a way in which we get a lot of new sponsors. So I don't want to be negative, but I'm concerned that we will not get new sponsors so readily in this current financial year, and that we will lose some sponsors because they can't cope. So at the moment, we're still able to support India financially to the level that we have been doing so. It's been tremendous, the amount of people who have given money for the feeding program. It is tailing off a bit now, which one would expect. And we need to find imaginative ways in which to engage with people and persuade them that in spite of their financial difficulties and the kind of fears that people have in this country, that actually they should be, and they would benefit from themselves as well as benefit the children if they keep with us and if they support us. So that's the situation, the problem we have at the moment, as I see it.
I know that.
Thank you very much for that summary, Ruth. The Go has been hit so hard, hasn't it? I know when Cheryl and I were there in September, October last year, we had the Thomas Cook collapse, and that had a massive impact on the local economy. We know, for instance, that at the hotel that we were staying at, people were losing their jobs left, right, and centre. They were having to get pay cuts. The taxi drivers, tuk-tuk drivers, shops, their income just plummeted because the tourists weren't able to get there. And clearly, as you say,
I don't agree about it.
And that's how they reach the charity.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Sorry, if other people are talking, we can hear you. Unless you mute yourself. So, so it's been a catalogue of disasters, hasn't it?
Dave, you're talking.
Anyway, so I mean, has anybody got any other questions for Matthew, Anita, or Ruth?
Can I?
Yes, of course, do. Yes, so that is Sharon. Go ahead.
Martin, sorry. I did meet Anita many years ago. I think I've been sponsoring Joseph now for about 5+ years. I run a charity in the West Midlands, and we have been supporting the COVID. We've been doing the food parcels and looking after the families and different things. But I really want to contact with Anita and Ruth, because I'm sure there's something I can do from our charity side, because we gave so much out. We've got a tremendous community. I'm sure if I asked, they will give something back to me. So if I can
wow.
email Ruth or hello Ruth, Elaine,
Thank you. That's great.
if I can link in with Anita and Ruth, I'm sure we in the Midlands should be able to do something, maybe just giving page. We're doing a book library at the moment where people can queue with the distancing and drop money in the tin. I think there's about 80 quid in at the minute, £80, sorry, at the minute. We can start escalating on that, but I really, really do want to support. I was hoping I could come out, because every year I come out and I either bring T-shirts, I bring books, I always bring something and visit the orphanage. And if we can't do it, but I really want to be involved. So
Thank you.
Two ladies.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sharon. That's great. And we got a question from Sally Ann Gates. Have you thought of any partnerships with UK primary schools where the children can be pen pals with each other and perhaps meet up virtually?
That's a great idea.
Matthew, that's a great idea, you say? Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
But only that need a lot of organizing. That need a lot of phoning and emailing, organizing required. But I'm sure a lot of schools will be more than happy to do that.
I think a lot of schools do pen pal initiatives, don't they? So it's as you say, it's the organizing. It's the organizing, really. Kate, you wanted to say something.
What I found is, instead of asking money, telling stories are the best. Instead of asking money directly, telling people what we are doing. Even when we started the COVID relief, we started with no money. Absolutely, we had only a few 100 kilos of rice with us. And we were not doing great financially of late in the last 2 years with El Shaddai. But when we started the COVID relief, I'll tell you, people just poured in help from everywhere. People just gave so much. Even the money, look at UK, 20,000 pounds, that's a good money. And in India also, a lot of people. I'm sure if we tell stories of how we are trying to make transformation in the lives of people, how people's lives are changed, I'm sure we will get more and more people to support us.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Kate first.
Yes.
And then I'll come to you, Lorraine.
Can I
Kate.
say something?
Is that all right, Matthew? Are you happy if I just say something very quickly about shopping and giving?
And they can say what Kate can say what she wants to say.
And
So
Kate.
we've been sponsoring Shakshi for about 4 years now, and I've just started working with Matthew and Julia on a new initiative for fundraising called Shopping and Giving. So for those of us in the UK, if you can sign up to that, that would be fantastic. I can just share my screen very briefly with you. Can you see that at all?
I think what's
You can only
happening
see you now.
screen sharing clip. Oh no, hang on. No, we got it now.
Yeah, we saw it.
Great. Yeah.
We got it now.
Can you see this? So this is what Julia and Matthew and I have been working on, and Carol for El Shaddai for fundraising. So for those of us in the UK, if you want to do online shopping, you can register with this and then shop for holidays, electrical appliances, clothes, John Lewis. You can see all the retailers down here, and every transaction that you make gives a percentage to El Shaddai. So that would be really helpful if people are happy to sign up.
No,
It's kind of no cost.
are you going out at 12?
And how do we get to that page to be able to shop, Kate?
So all the correspondence from El Shaddai now has that link on the bottom of
No,
their.
I'm going to go if you want to walk. Well, with Joe.
If somebody's having a conversation with their son, daughter, or someone, could they please mute themselves so we can hear what Kate's saying? Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, so the website address is here, so I'm very happy to post that in. I'll post that in the chat to everyone. But I think Julia's put it on Facebook as well. So this is just for UK people at the moment, but it's a completely free way of fundraising.
That's brilliant.
Can I add to that?
Yes, of course, Anita.
Yeah, you can do Smile Amazon as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh yes, I use that. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not
Yes.
it's not so big in its percentage, but so many people use Amazon that
Yeah.
if they use Amazon Smile, we do get some money.
Yeah, I think nobody should be buying anything direct from Amazon when it's so very easy to buy exactly the same stuff at no extra cost and actually give money to the charity as well. So please just don't go to Amazon. Make sure you go to Amazon Smile to do all
And
of
plus Amazon is super rich. They got too much money.
Yeah, so we want some of it.
I support Mark Zuckerberg saying that Amazon need to be split up.
Okay, and Kate's very kindly, if you look in the chat box, Kate's very kindly put the link in. So so you can just click on that and go shopping. After all, we're all stuck at home. We've got nothing else to do, have we? So
Thank you, Kate. Thanks for your help.
Is Lorraine still with us? I know Lorraine had a question. Is she still there? Are you still with us, Lorraine? No, I think her picture's disappeared. So, but never mind. We will talk to Elaine instead.
Right, I was just wondering. I'm really pleased about that link that she's given us, because I do the Smile, and I didn't realise that that was on to begin with, but I did email Anita and say, I've just done Smile and an El Shaddai. But I got my Gusto this morning, which we're trying out, and so I'll look now and see if I can put El Shaddai on it. But I've got it as El Shaddai rather than Faith Community. So perhaps, you know, if you're doing something like that, you need to do El Shaddai or Faith Community, and then you cover both posts. But I just wondered if there's anybody on El Shaddai has considered doing PayPal.
Sorry, doing what?
Doing what?
PayPal.
PayPal.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
PayPal.
A lot of the stuff that I'm doing at the moment, I'm paying for via PayPal, because we're classed as being vulnerable adults, I'm afraid, and I've missed out on my hip replacement in March, so I'm waiting for that. So can't do sort of all sorts of stuff. So we do PayPal, and that's good because you can actually pay extra for the charity as well. So you know, just one of those things, isn't it?
Okay, I didn't know that about PayPal, so that's
You know,
really
but
particularly.
so many years on that we've still got El Shaddai, and it's something that was really dear to my heart. I came to El Shaddai through Anita's dad, who was
Backrel.
he was a ham radio operator. And he asked for somebody to help his daughter. And when I went down to see his daughter, and she threatened to bust my tires. She said, I'll let your tires down. You're not going home yet. So that was my beginnings. And I know she was going to threaten to let my tires down, but she saved my life in at the beach when a great big wave came, when we'd gone to spend a penny in the sea. Well, where do you go when you're at the beach on the market?
We've got a couple of questions in a couple of minutes. Has anybody got any other burning questions or ideas or anything they want to say?
Yes, can I mention?
Okay, Neaton?
For everyone's information, Elaine is one of our oldest trustee, probably one of the senior most in El Shaddai, apart from Anita.
I'm senior to Anita just by a couple of months, I think, age-wise.
Okay. Neaton, you wanted
Hi,
to...
great.
Hi.
Firstly, nice meeting all of you, and
Thanks, Nitin.
I'm glad that El Shaddai is in a comfortable position at the moment. And Kate's initiative, I like. If we can all send those links for shopping to our friends, relatives, it will help. On my side, 2-3 years ago, I organized a trek. I organize treks every year. But this year in September, we had planned a trek for El Shaddai, trekking in the Peak District in Yorkshire. And Obviously, COVID came. We had to cancel that. But I'm planning to keep that on for in next year. And hopefully all of you in the UK or Europe can give support and come on the track. And we go on 15 or 20K trekking and we stay in a hotel, nice, and have a nice camaraderie. So you will get those details next year, and hopefully most of you or all of you can join and support El Shaddai on that.
Thanks.
How many miles do you do in a day, Nishin? Is it something that somebody is
actually,
making do?
Right. Actually, we go for a long weekend, and on one of the days only, I keep some 3 or 4 guides, mountain guides, and they take us through wherever we plan, about 15 to 20 kilometers. Doesn't sound a lot, but the whole it takes about 6. When you imagine 60 of us trekking, and everyone is different speeds. So it takes about 5-6 hours, but
that's great.
Everyone can say 2 or 3 months before they can start raising sponsorship by telling friends, relatives, employers to sponsor them. So this way we raise normally, we can raise anything from 5 to 10,000 at least. And but that is provided we had 50 people, because we go in a coach, we stay for a long weekend in a nice 3 to 4 star hotel, and so we enjoy, we have fun. So it's not like trekking every day, but hopefully we'll see you there next year.
And it's the most beautiful part of the world, absolutely gorgeous. So
Oh yes, Britain is so good. I mean, people come from America and everywhere here, and all of us, we go to Europe and out. But we've got beauty here. We've got so much.
We certainly have. We're very, 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 very lucky indeed.
Thank you.
So unless anyone has anything burning that they want to say, in which case wave your hand at me very quickly. I think we'll wrap up. But what a fantastic conversation we've had. Anita, Matthew, Ruth, everybody contributed.
Thank you.
Very, very much. It's been lovely to
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to come back to India myself. Yeah, as soon as I can, I most certainly will. So thank you for joining us all today. It's been great to hear that El Shaddai is doing well. Could be doing better, still needs more funds, still needs more support. But it's a charity that's obviously growing and thriving and doing a huge amount, not just for children in India, but the local community as well. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm join again for the
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Anita.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. That'll be the fun.
Bye-bye, Deirdre.
Bye, Mary.
Bye-bye, Deirdre. Ruth.
Hi, Deirdre.
We'll keep in touch.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Anita.
Anita,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Deirdre.
And
We'll
Ruth.
keep in touch. We'll keep in touch. I'll keep in touch. Ruth, I'll send you a letter. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Okay, you take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Again. Yeah, bye-bye.
Where's John? Where's John Tatton? Where's the cricket John?
He's
not
gone.
there.
Oh.
Playing cricket probably with himself.
Oh,
Cricket John is there. I didn't see him.
I didn't see him.
No, John
He
wasn't
was
there.
there. He was there.
We didn't hear Biker Dave's experience of being
I saw.
Oh,
stranded.
sorry.
He's
you want me
trying
to
to
go?
forget the trauma.
Yes, has Suzanne got time to hear?
Visible than heard.
Have I got what? Sorry.
I don't think we've heard Biker Dave's story when he was stranded in Goa.
Oh.
Oh, do you want to hear it? Have you got
Can
time?
you repeat that for another time or not? I don't know.
We're going to do more talk.
You've gone.
Yeah.
Did you want me to talk or do you want me to save it for later?
Next week.
Next week.
Talk about it next
Yeah.
week.
Okay, we'll do.
Hey, I'd like to hear that story. Brilliant.
Thank you for organising it, and
Welcome.
look forward
It
to
was
the next
good.
one.
Yeah. It
Look
was
forward
good.
to hear your story, Micah. David.
Yes,
In
Matthew.
the next town to me. Are you in the next town to me, Dave?
Next time.
Next week or whenever.
It would say-
The next town, Dave.
Is it the same time?
next time. Next time.
No, I think you are in the next town to me.
Oh,
Live in the-
oh,
We can meet maybe
I'm-
once in a week, once in 2 weeks, like talk.
I don't know where you are. I'm in
the
Bedford.
experience.
You're in Bedford, are you?
Yes.
Oh, right. I'm in High Ferris.
Oh, well,
Just-
not a million miles away.
Not north of you.
Ruth,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to send you my phone number in the chat box. Could you give me a ring, please? Would you mind?
Who's that?
Okie dokie. What now?
Yeah, I've just sent
In a
my phone number in the chat box. Not now, whenever.
Oh, yeah.
This afternoon or so. Just give me a call because I'm concerned you didn't get my email and I wanted to have a chat. So in case I will send it again, but in case it doesn't come